Hello friends, welcome to this new tutorial. Today I have here this iPhone 11 and the problem on it won't turn on. So today in this video I will show you how to troubleshoot this phone from E to Z and figure out what's the problem step by step. So if your phone is not turning on, I think this video it will be perfect for your problem. Alright, so before we start we will need some tools. We will need tweezers, we will need a tri-point screwdriver, we will need a pentalobe screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a toothbrush, and 99-degree alcohol, and also we'll need a charger and a USB cable. Okay, so that's all what we will need. But I don't know, you need to watch the video from the beginning to the end, and we will move. We may not need all these tools, so you just need to follow the steps one by one and try the solutions. Whatever it works for you, that's good. Alright, so let's put these tools aside, and now we're gonna start by troubleshooting the phone step by step. The first thing we need to do, try to turn the phone on from the power button. Push the power button, hold it for 3 seconds to 5 seconds, because sometimes if you hold it for 1 second and it doesn't work, and then you remove your hand, then push the button again, this is not the correct way to turn it on. Push the power button for 3 seconds. As you see, it doesn't work. So in this case we may think that maybe the battery is not charged. So what we're gonna do, we will take the charging, the USB cable, it's already plugged into the power, then we will plug it here. And we will leave it for some time. Here you should see a battery charging, that means the phone is charging. It's just a red battery. Okay, but for this phone I already left it in charge for a long time, and unfortunately it doesn't turn on. So what I'm gonna do, maybe the phone, now we're gonna move to the next to the third step. Maybe the phone is not charging because it has too much dirt here on the charging port. So what I'm gonna do, I will clean the charging port. I will use these tweezers and I will insert it here and just pass it here and remove if there is any dirt or dust, or maybe something is interrupting the charge, you know. Make sure when you are passing this on the pins, make sure to be very careful to not damage the charging port. Alright, so once you clean it and you remove with the tweezers, you're gonna use the toothbrush and the alcohol and clean it with the alcohol. Make sure that the alcohol that you are using, it's 99-degree or at least 90-degree, because if you use less than 90, that means it contains water on it, and that may cause some shorts inside the phone, or it may cause whatever called, or it may cause the liquid, what do you call it, liquid damage. It may cause a liquid damage. Alright, so we're gonna clean it carefully like this. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do, I will plug it again into the charge. Nothing. Sometimes you may need to test it with another cord, so I'm just gonna use this one. This is a different one. Maybe your cord is not working, so I plug it with this one, and I'm just gonna wait. Alright, as you see, I left it in charge for some time, but nothing. Alright guys, so after we try all the other solutions, so now we're gonna go to what is called force restarting the phone. For the iPhone 11, to force restart it, you just need to, it's very easy, you just need to push the power button, the volume up button, the volume down, and the power button, but it's gonna be quick. Push this one and release, then this one and release, then push this one and hold. So I'm gonna do it 1, 2, 3 and hold this one, and we're gonna keep holding for 20 seconds, or at least until we see the Apple logo. So keep holding, don't release until you see the Apple logo. Keep holding. Alright, I think it's the 20 second is already done. So since I don't say anything, I'm just gonna release now and try again. Because sometimes if you don't push the volume up button or the volume down button correctly, it may not work for you. So you need to give it another try. Alright, so I'm just gonna release because I don't see anything here. So push the volume up, volume down, then the power button, and hold. Alright, so I hold it for more than 30 seconds, but nothing. So now that means that the phone is completely dead. Now we're gonna go ahead and we will open the phone. Alright, so to open the phone we will need, as I told you, I mentioned in the beginning, we will need a pin-type screwdriver. We're gonna open these two screws here in the bottom. By the way, before you start opening your phone, you need to know that this may void your warranty, and you may damage your phone during this process. And if you damage your phone, it's going to be on your own risk. Then we're going to use this IC semi. I forgot to mention this. And we will insert it here between the glass, between the LCD and frame. It's going to be right here exactly, as you see. Then we will pry up gently. Gently, don't use the force, okay? Just gently. As you see. Then we're going to wiggle this way. Then I will slide this around the edge. Some people are using the suction cup. I just don't recommend that. I prefer to use this tool. Alright, so once you release this side here, you're just gonna open it like this and hold it with your finger to not go back. Then you're gonna do the same thing for this side. Always make sure when you are playing like this, make sure you use only the edge and play only on the edge, because if you go deep you may damage your screen or you may damage something inside. And then you're gonna keep releasing this part here until we release the whole thing. Okay, as you see, I release this. So now what I'm gonna do, I will move the screen right and left, then I will pull it down gently, as you see, and I will pull it to one side, and make sure don't use too much force, because this may like just fly and you may cut the cables inside. Always you should have like a good control of it. Okay, as you see, I release this part here. So now what I'm gonna do, I will just open this screen like I'm opening a book, like this. Alright, so why we open the phone? We open the phone because we need to disconnect the battery and reconnect it, because sometimes if the phone won't turn on, reconnecting the battery, it may solve the problem. Alright, so I open the phone and the battery cable is underneath this bracket, so we're gonna use the tri-point screwdriver, and we will open these screws here. So this is one, and we have one underneath this cable here. Then we have another one right here. And make sure to handle this carefully, because these cables are very sensitive. You may cut them in any wrong movement, you know. Alright, so I remove this bracket, I put it here next to the screws, and what I'm gonna do, I will just disconnect the cable from here. This battery cable is disconnected. Alright, so I will wait like 5 seconds, then I will reconnect it and try again. So now what I'm gonna do, I will just plug it in charge, because sometimes if the phone doesn't have enough juice on it, it may not turn on. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it for some time. Now I'm just gonna wait. Since I disconnect the battery, I will wait like couple minutes and see. Alright guys, so I left it for enough time, and I already changed the charger, changed the cord, but it's still the same problem, no power. Alright, so now we're gonna move to the next solution, which is disconnecting this cable, because sometimes this cable here can cause the phone to not turn on also. So let's disconnect. This is the front facing what they call it, the face scanner, you know, the face recognition sensor. So we're gonna open this bracket here. It has 5 screws, 1 2 3 4 5. Alright, so I open all the screws here. So now I will put this bracket next to its screws, and first let me disconnect the battery first from here. I know it's underneath these cables here, it's not professional, but supposed to be like outside, not underneath these cables here. Alright, so here I'm gonna disconnect this cable. It's right here connected. So now I'm gonna reconnect the cable, because always before you disconnect or connect a cable, make sure that the battery cable is disconnected. So now what I'm gonna do, I will turn on the phone without connecting this cable. Okay, so let's turn it on. Three seconds. If nothing, that means there is nothing. Alright, nothing. Plug it in charge. Nothing. Okay, so as you see, I disconnect this cable and the phone still is not turning on. So the next step or the next solution is changing the screen, putting a new screen. So what I'm going to do, I will disconnect this cable, disconnect this cable. Those are the screen cables, and this one it's already disconnected. Now I'm going to put this screen aside and I will test it with a new screen. Hopefully this is the right one, I'm not sure. Let me see. No, this is not the right screen. Unfortunately, I don't have the right screen, and this is not gonna fit here. Alright guys, so what I'm gonna do now, I will test it with another screen. I have this screen which is used, but I know it's working. So let me connect these cables here. Okay, always make sure that the cables are well connected and perfectly matching with their connection on the motherboard before you push on them, because you may damage the connection in the bottom. So now I'm gonna connect the battery and I will turn the phone on. 3 seconds. Hopefully I can see a light. Nothing. Okay, let me plug it in charge and leave it for some time. Alright guys, I left it for some time, but still nothing here on the screen. So what I'm gonna do now, I will disconnect the charging port cable and reconnect it. Let me disconnect the battery cable, then the screen cables. Since this screen doesn't turn the phone on, I'm just gonna put it aside and I will use the original that comes with the phone instead. So now I'm just gonna disconnect this charging port. Sometimes it may be not connected well, so that's why the phone is not charging. That's why it's not turning on. Alright, yeah, I feel like this connector here is not well placed on its place. Alright, so it's well placed now. Even I feel like it's crooked a little bit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I will connect these two cables here. Alright, so then the battery. And I will test it again. Leave it for some time. Okay, I don't see anything here. So the last thing that I need to test, two more things I need to use to test the phone with them, which is the battery and the charging port. Unfortunately, I don't have a battery for this phone and I don't have the charging port. So I'm just gonna show you like quickly how to test the charging port. What you're gonna do, you're gonna get a new charging port. Let me get one. Yeah, this is the charging port for an iPhone XS, because I don't have for the iPhone 11. I'm just gonna show you with this one. So what you're gonna do, disconnect the battery, remove the screen, and disconnect this cable here. Then you're gonna connect this one. The new charging port is gonna be like the same shape like this. You're gonna connect it here on the charging port. Then you will connect the screen and connect the battery. Then you will, while this one is connected here, you're gonna plug it into the charge and you will see if it works. Then you can go ahead and remove all the screws from here and replace it. And for this, how to do it, you need to go to YouTube and find the tutorial about it. Okay, so we're gonna test the charging port. If it doesn't work, you will need to test a new battery, another battery, because maybe this battery is gone. And if it doesn't work, what we can do, the last thing is heating up the motherboard. Okay, let me connect this. I feel like something wrong here. Alright, so it's connected now. Alright, so as I said, the last thing we can test is heating up the motherboard. So to heat up the motherboard, we're gonna use this heat gun, and we're just gonna heat it up slightly. Make sure don't heat it up too much, because you may melt the plastic parts on the motherboard, or you may heat up the battery too much, and this may cause a problem. So you need to heat it up carefully. Alright, so I heat up the motherboard. The battery still looks good, so that's the last thing we need to do. We heat up the motherboard, then we will test. And you can go from step to step, not in the order I show you. You can just start with whatever the step. Before you open the phone, always you try the steps that doesn't require to open it. Then once you open the phone, you can test whatever you wanna test, you know. So now what I'm gonna do, I will connect this cable here, and I will put the phone back together. So we're gonna put this cable here into this channel, then we're gonna make sure it's matching with its connection on the motherboard, and we will click on it. Alright, so this is the first cable. Then we're gonna connect these two cables here. By the way, the phone is hot. Alright, so I connect these cables, then the battery. Yeah, these cables are not connecting perfectly, so I have to keep trying and trying. Make sure don't use the force. Alright, so now I'm gonna put this bracket here, and I will put the screws. So I put all the screws back. So now I'm gonna just put the phone back together. I'm supposed to test it first, but anyway, I will test it once I put it back together, because I want to end up this video. So I put the two screws in the bottom, then the pentalobe screwdriver, and close. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do, I will just plug it in charge and check. Hopefully after I heat up the motherboard, it may show some sign of life. Let's leave it in charge. Alright, so nothing. By the way, I still need to test it with the battery and with the new charging ports. I don't have them, so I just finished this video, and maybe later on I will show you how to replace the battery on this, and in another video I may show you how to replace the charging port, and I will order them and get them. Once I get them, I will show you, I will upload a video about them. Alright, so now the last thing that we need to do, we need to see if this phone will communicate with the computer. So I have this cable here. I have one end connected here to the computer right here. I don't know if you see it. Then this is the computer, and I will plug the other end here. And once the phone is connected to the computer, if you hear any beep, that means the phone it turns on, you know. So if you don't hear anything, that means the phone is completely dead. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now, I will go to the computer. Let me just show you. I'm here into the computer, and I will open the iTunes right here, and it opens this screen. Then once the phone is connected, I will put the phone into the what they call it, the force not the force restart, to the recovery mode. So I will push this button here and this button here and this one, and they will hold. So volume up, volume down, power button, while the cable is connected, you know, because the phone not gonna enter to the recovery mode if the cable is not connected. So make sure you connect the phone to the cable, with the cable to the computer first, then try. And I'm just gonna keep holding here. Maybe the phone will enter to the recovery mode, and then we can do an update. Still holding, maybe like 30 seconds. If nothing, I will just release, and that's it for this video. If the phone doesn't turn on, we're just gonna end it up right there, and we will try the battery and the charging port later on. Nothing. So let me disconnect, reconnect, and try again. 1, 2, 3, and hold. For the recovery mode, when you see the Apple logo here, keep holding, don't release. I'm just gonna wait for the last 30 seconds, and that's it. Nothing. So this phone is completely dead, and if all these steps doesn't solve your problem, that means the motherboard is fried out, you know. So you need to make sure you test the phone with the new battery and the new charging port, and that's it. Alright guys, so as you see, nothing, no power, nothing. So all the solutions, one of them should solve your problem, and if it doesn't, you need to go to the next one, to the next, until you try them all. If none of them solve the problem, that means the phone is completely dead, and you will need someone who is doing the micro soldering on the motherboard, so he can test the power and test many things. Alright guys, I hope that you learned something from me. If you do, please hit the thumbs up, share this video with your friends, even the phone doesn't work at the end, but we already did those are the correct steps that you need to follow. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. See you in the next video, and have a wonderful time. Peace.